I feel it everywhere. Nothing scares me anymore. Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know, baby. I got that summertime sadness. That's that summertime sadness. Got that summertime sadness. Oh. Think I'll miss you forever, like the stars miss the sun in the morning sky. Wait is better than never. Even if you're gone, I'm gonna try. I got that summertime sadness. Summertime sadness. Got that summertime sadness. Oh. Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know, baby. I got that summertime sadness. Summertime sadness. Got that summertime sadness. Oh. Feet don't fail me now. Take me to the finish line. Oh, my heart, it breaks every step that I take. But I'm open at the gates. They'll tell me that you're mine. Walking through the city streets. Is it by mistake or design? I feel so alone on the Friday nights. Can you make it feel like home if I tell you you're mine? It's like I told you, honey. Don't make me sad, don't make me cry. Sometimes life is not enough and the road gets tough. I don't know why. Keep making me laugh. Let's go get high. The road is long, we'll carry on. Try to have fun in the meantime. Come take a walk on the outside. Let me kiss you hard in the pouring rain. You like your girls insane. So choose your last words. This is the last time. 'Cause you and I, we would want to die. Lost, but now I am found. I can see, but once I was blind. I was so confused as a little child, trying to take what I could get, scared that I couldn't find all the answers, honey. Don't make me sad, don't make me cry. Sometimes love is not enough and the road gets tough. I don't know why. Keep making me laugh. Let's go get high. The road is long, we carry on. Try to have fun in the meantime. Come take a walk on the outside. Let me kiss you hard in the pouring rain. You're like your girl's insane. So choose your last words. This is the last time. 'Cause you and I, we were born to die. We were born to die. We were born to die. Come and take a walk on the outside. Let me kiss you hard in the pouring rain. You're like your girl's insane. Don't make me sad, don't make me cry. Sometimes love is not enough and the road gets tough. I don't know why. Keep making me laugh. Let's go get high. The road is long, carry on. Try to have fun in the meantime. Come and take a walk on the outside. Let me kiss you hard in the pouring rain. You're like your girl's insane. So choose your last words. This is the last time. 'Cause you and I, we were born to die. I was in the winter of my life, and the men I met along the road were my only summer. At night, I fell asleep with visions of myself dancing and laughing and crying with them. 3 years down the line of being on an endless world tour, and my memories of them were the only things that sustained me, and my only real happy times. I was a singer, not a very popular one. I once had dreams of becoming a beautiful poet, but upon an unfortunate series of events, saw those dreams dashed and divided like a million stars in the night sky that I wished on over and over again, sparkling and broken. But I didn't really mind because I knew that it takes getting everything you ever wanted and then losing it to know what true freedom is. When the people I used to know found out, they asked me why. There's no use in talking to people home. They have no idea. Seek safety in other people. For home to be wherever you lie your head. I was always an unusual girl. My mother told me I had a chameleon soul. No moral compass pointing due north. No fixed personality. Just an inner indecisiveness that was as wide and as wavering as the ocean. And if I said I didn't plan for it to turn out this way, I'd be lying. Because I was born to be the other woman who belonged to no one, who belonged to everyone, who had nothing, who wanted everything, with a fire for every experience and an obsession for freedom that terrified me to the point that I couldn't even talk about, and pushed me to a nomadic point of madness that both passed. And if I wanted to live in a country that wasn't free, then I might have chosen somewhere like Scotland. Scotland is the only place in the UK that takes away all your freedom. Hi, good afternoon. If you're on Twitter, what you have to do is you have to slide across. So if you click on the live stream and you slide across, I've just done it myself just to double check. So that's what you need to do. I don't know what's wrong with my face lately. It's saying, really wrong with my face. Hi, good afternoon. How the devil are you? I am good. I am wearing, I think it's sky blue. I don't know. It's turquoise or sky blue. It's lovely. Whatever it is, it's lovely. I thought along the bottom, you've got all the places that we could go. If you go to the event page or the locals page, you can find out how to get involved. We are bringing you in rather quickly so that you can get involved. We've got a variety of genius ways to make sure that you are who you say you are. But if you want to do anything with us, you have to come through our website so that we are ticking all the legal boxes. And talking of legal boxes, I'm going to look at police today. Now, you may not know this, so I'm going to tell you, but I have been interviewed by the British police on four occasions, 3 occasions. So I've had them once at my door. I've been interviewed for under caution, which if you don't know, if you don't live in the UK, under caution means that you've been read your rights and that anything you say can be used against you in any court proceedings. So what police do is they invite you to a voluntary interview, and it's not voluntary at all because if you don't show up, they could arrest you. And you have to, you don't have to take legal representation, but for those of you in the United Kingdom, let me just remind you, you are entitled to free legal representation. The last time that I was interviewed by the police, I didn't have free representation because I wanted to take somebody in there who would just totally kick this into touch. But I'm in a very different position from most people because I am an activist. Sammy says, finally brought that poppy red TERF hoodie. Arrived today. It's beautiful. It's an absolute beaut. It really is. Look, I say it all the time and I don't think anyone believes me because I'm very good at sales. But the things that we produce here, this hoodie, for example, is A, even better in the flesh than it looks on there. B, we print it ourselves here. We have an incredible woman. I do it sometimes just for myself, but she does it for stuff that we send out. And it's incredible. She's really meticulous and accurate. So we print it ourselves. And the actual garments that we print on are made in Portugal, and they are organic cotton and sustainable, and all those other things that apparently people care about. So that's why they're the most beautiful items that you will see anybody wearing in this activist set. And they actually, everything goes right back in. But it's a beautiful sunny day, so it's time for stickering, right? What's in here? Oh, not stickers. We're going to send out some offers on stickers, so make sure you're signed up to the site so that you can actually go out and start enjoying it's quite fresh here, a bit sunny yesterday. People are cutting their grass. That's how nice the weather is around here. People are actually cutting their grass. So, anyway, so I've been interviewed by the police on 3 occasions. I've had the police at my door for being, as in their words, not mine, untoward about paedophiles. I've also been arrested. There is a live stream about that, and that was for being a woman in public, and not marching about BLM, which meant BLM means that you can actually go out when it was COVID. If you're marching about anti-racism as if anyone's pro-racism marching for it. But if you're an anti-racist and you call yourself a BLM activist, then you couldn't catch COVID. You just couldn't.
You couldn't catch COVID. You couldn't actually catch a criminal charge or conviction for public damage, criminal damage. So really, wow, exciting. Anyway, so I'm going to send you something in from Australia. I'm not going to lie. It's like a parody. I think it will set the tone nicely. It's very funny. I don't think the Australian police are meaning it to be funny, but especially maybe it's because they've also got Australian accents, which makes it seem more of like a pastiche, a bit of a sketch. But it's funny nonetheless, and it's just for you.
Hi, my name's Leading Senior Constable Brown and I'm from Cumberland Police Area Command.
And I'm Constable Cameron from Northern Beaches Police Area Command.
We are the gay police. We are the LGBT police, and we only walk on rainbows. So, get that. Yeah, that's what we do.
We are both LGBTIQ+ liaison officers.
We work together with our LGBTIQ+ community to provide a professional and effective policing response.
Brian here, he speaks gay, and I speak T. So I can speak in riddles and a load of shit. And he just speaks like any other bloke, but you know, we call it gay speak. So what he might do, which we don't feel is offensive, is he might actually just drop in that he really, really loves Liza Minnelli.
Sensitive to the needs of those LGBTQI+ peoples.
Because if you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, transgender, non-binary, idiot, what's the other I for? Intersex, and the plus, maths, and you like maths. It might be that when you are under arrest or when the police deal with you, you have different laws and you're impacted by different laws than any other member of the population, right?
LGBTIQ+
Can I just say, if you're offended by my Australian accent, I genuinely don't care.
liaison officers will be among the many police officers working throughout the Sydney World Pride 2023 festival, ensuring that it is a safe and enjoyable.
Oh, look at them. They're so fun. Oh my God, they're so fun. Like, wow. So they're so fun.
Time for all.
You'll be able to recognise our LGBT.
Oh my God, they even do selfies. Like, if you're going to Mardi Gras and you don't want to get stabbed, as long as the police can do like a really good selfie, you're absolutely untouchable, mate.
The IQ+ liaison officers during events by our yellow sleeve and our glow badge.
And our skipping, because nothing says LGBTQ plus than selfies and skipping. Like a lot of skipping, and underneath his uniform, John, Dave, whatever his name is, he's going to be wearing some knickers, like small lacy pants. Getting from your mum, John? Nice.
If you find yourself in any sort of trouble, please do not wait to report it to an LGBT.
And remember, if you're carrying a pride flag, it means you can't actually commit any acts of crime, because you'll just be let off straight away. That's your get out of jail free flag.
LGBTIQ+ liaison officer. Instead, find your nearest police officer, yellow sleeve or no yellow sleeve, or attend your nearest police station. We are all here to help you. Please stay safe.
I'm all laughing. You know, it seems like a barrel of laughs, these like belonging to the police. Wow. And he's got all that stuff there. I'm just thinking, is she keeping that equipment in her bra? Because she doesn't have this vest. She's too busy having fun. So she doesn't have anything in her vest. I'm just wondering where, as a female, I mean, maybe in her vagina, but either way, he seems to need a lot in his vest, like kit, tools, pads, I don't know. She doesn't need any of those things because she's got breasts, you know?
And look after one another. Happy Sydney World Pride and happy Mardi Gras.
Told you, it's like a parody. It's like a parody. Although I'm going to show you something a bit later that I think is worse. Than that. So we're going to go to Scotland, but before we do, let's have a little look at what's happening in the West Midlands, because they've got some great, really brave police officers there. I think we should all take a look. One thing I am going to warn you, a little bit of a trigger warning, is the size of this man's jaw.
I've always wanted to join the police
I've always wanted to join the police ever since I was born, and I used to say to my mum, I'm not a boy, I'm a police officer.
since I can remember. I've always wanted to do my best to make a difference to somebody.
What I like to do for extra special training is I wear a wig when I run. And it's a lot of more weight on your knees, and you have to keep your head like quite still as you're running with the wig. It's been a great trial for me.
A job where you can make a difference, where you are able
Oh, look at that woman. Oh, it's like Baywatch. It's like Baywatch.
to offer help, where you are actually able to save life was really important. And I'm still as passionate now as I was 21 years ago.
I just want to see the Baywatch bit again. Can I just? Because it amuses me.
A job where you can make a difference, where you are able
There's a shark in the water!
to offer help, where you are actually able to save life was really important.
And I can even do a zip, even with these giant, great big sausage fingers that I've got.
And I'm still as passionate now as I was 21 years ago.
They cropped most of it out because you couldn't get him in. So they've had to do a lot of cropping there. This is why all police forces are screwed. It's because, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Once there is one member of the police force, it is either invested through their own fetish or because they've got some relative who's like abusing a child and pretending that they're the opposite sex. It takes one person who is either a fetishist or an ally to a fetishist to poison an entire workplace. And what happens with people when they have a fetish, when they have a strong urge and desire to do something like this, to pretend to be a woman, when these men have a fetish that they desire to make others pretend that they see them as a woman, when that happens, that becomes their life, that becomes their entire existence, that becomes a thing that compels them on a daily basis. And we know that some organizations don't acknowledge this, but that's because they're a little bit thick. So when it comes to this particular individual, and more broadly the police, there have been individuals in the police office, in the police force, in individual forces, and what they have done is they have used that police force in order to push their own agenda, and their own agenda is first and foremost themselves, how they want to be seen, and then what they do to pretend that they are, to get their own way, they like to pretend that they're having a civil rights kind of thing, and then they push it for other people. And what they pretend to do is they pretend to talk about trans rights, but really, do you know what they're talking about? Their own rights. They're talking about their own demands and access into whatever, wherever, however they want to be seen themselves. And if that helps other people, then so be it. But their motivation is not to change the world for men like them. Their motivation is to change the world for themselves. And I think often people have this funny idea when these men are standing up there for, I don't know, LGBT inclusion in schools or LGBT inclusion in the police force. They're really not talking about those systems. They're talking about changing something so they can have what they want. And I think we ought to really step back a little bit from thinking that these men are talking about anyone other ever than themselves.
Hi, I'm Sky. I'm PC Sky Morden, and I'm currently a tactical trainer and taser lead instructor.
And if I'm misgendered, I'm going to taser you in the privates.
The most important part of being a police officer, it's having empathy, even when the world seems to be against you.
No, the most important part about being a freaking police officer is upholding the law. I don't give a shit if you empathise with me, if somebody breaks into my house or somebody assaults somebody that I care about. I don't care that you empathise. I really, really don't care. I've got friends and family for that. I just want you to know the law. I want you to uphold the law, and I want you to be fair with the law, and I want you to actually find the people and prosecute. So stick the empathy up your taser-tight arse.
It's having that compassion. I'm trans. I've always known I'm trans.
I'm police. I've always known I'm police. And ever since I could afford this very magnificent wig, I've come out. So I've learned to talk and everything, you know. And the police force that I work for is so stupid. They're letting me make demands of them on a daily basis.
Ever since I can remember. Growing up, I just pretended to be someone I wasn't, and I hid myself away. Every time you see...
Well, I think you should carry on doing that, Dave. I'm quite happy for you to hide yourself away and pretend to be something that you're not. I mean, a lot of us have our secret selves that we often don't even admit to ourselves, but we have our secret self. We have the person that slobs out in front of the television, and then we have the other person that actually puts ourselves together and goes and speaks to people. And then many of us will have another person, which is that work person that acts in a professional way and doesn't think that our erection is important at work while we dress as a woman. That's just me.
yourself in a mirror, every time you walk past a shop window, you have this feeling of hate, this feeling of anger, of just, that is not me.
Is he talking about since he started pretending to be a woman or not? Because is that what he's talking about? I walk past and I see myself in the wig and I think to myself, Dave, you've really let yourself down. You know, you look ridiculous. Nobody thinks you're a woman for a minute, Dave. You know, and you end up hating yourself, and you know your colleagues are laughing at you all the time, every day behind your back, or rolling their eyes. And you know that the women are quite afraid that you're going to start making noises about going and using their space, but you don't give a shit because you know you bought your wig, you put a little blue eyeshadow on, and you know jobs are good.
And as time progressed, it got to the point where I'd done some research.
Porn. Does he mean watching porn? I don't know that he's saying watching porn. I just suspect that it was watching porn.
I started to look into what gender identity was, and that the science was there, that actually I'm not mad.
Science was there. If you go to Pornhub and you type in transsexual porn, then, you know, I could really see myself in that. That was what I was feeling. And then I found that you could pretend it was called gender dysphoria or, you know, gender identity. And I didn't have to admit to everyone that I was a pervert, but, you know, I just got my own way. It's been great.
There is something here. I am trans. So I came out.
My wife was livid.
When Sky decided to come out,
Oh, I thought that was a joke. Oh, woman. Oh, I thought I was joking about wife, but no, here she is. I'm just going to say, get out.
in the police force, I did have some preconceived ideas about how that would be for her. I had a feeling it would be a challenge.
Oh, thank Christ, it's just a friend. Somebody was talking, I heard on a space this morning about them cheering on a man who identifies as a woman. I think they called themselves, they called this person a trans-identified male. Stop it. Can I just say stop it? They're men. They're not trans-identified anything. They're just men. It's really irritating. We are way too far down this path to be accepting people using stupid language. They're not trans-identified male. They're not male-bodied. They're not male people. They're not male persons. They're men. This person here, this woman who's maintained a friendship with a man who is wearing her identity like skin, is like, come on, women, for Christ's sake, grow a backbone.
Challenge. I knew that she'd been in the force a long time, that she had a lot of friends there, but I also was...
But, you know, she was so small and weak, and I just thought, she can't hurt anyone. You know, she's just tiny and she won't get in anyone's way, and isn't she so lovely?
concerned that there would be a lot of people who maybe wouldn't understand.
Who would take the piss, who might feel afraid, who might not want him at their spaces.
Who would have their own views, and I was concerned how she would be supported and protected within that.
Always wanted to
Oh.
I am trans. The job has hugely surprised me. My colleagues have been wonderful.
And they've given me a taser. So if anybody gives me any trouble on the streets, I can just tase them. It's been absolutely great. I was really shocked working in such a misogynist environment where no one gives a shit about women, that I'd be allowed to also do something where no one gives a shit about women, where it's like a mockery, taking the piss out of women. You know, I was surprised that it would fit so well with the police.
I have had so much support and I've had nothing but love.
When I think about the murder of young Sarah Everard and how the man in that police force was allowed to just get away with being just despicably behaved and misogynist, and even like flashing and committing those sorts of crimes. I couldn't put two and two together about, you know, how I could then be really brazen and actually also infringe upon the rights of women, because it made total sense. Like, that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about police forces who criminalise women who report being stalked, and then those women end up getting murdered. We talk about police forces who roll their eyes at women making complaints about really quite dangerous men. And then they're the same police forces as put men like this forward. It's the same story. It's the same story. Not remotely saying that this Gaston looking bloke, I'm not saying that he is a predator. I'm just saying, if he actually uses women's spaces, if he forces other people to comply to his ridiculous identity, if he's asking women within the police force or suspects or anybody that he engages with as a police officer, if he's doing that and forcing people to comply, then I think that's predatory.
The rest of my experiences with that have not been quite so good. Since I've came out as trans, sometimes I do feel like I'm swimming through a sea of hate.
But I soldier on, I put that wig on and I carry on, because my compulsion to dress as a woman outweighs any negativity. In fact, the negativity sometimes is exactly what I'm looking for, and I love it.
There's been a lot of hate messages out there, but you can ignore those, because the really important messages are those emails from parents of children who are struggling with their own gender identity.
So in many ways, he's helping the grooming as well. So, you know, he's ticking all boxes, this guy. Dangerous weapons and grooming. Who wouldn't think that was great for the police? So this, I don't know what this guy is, some sort of community guy. Is that what he was? Let's have a look. Communications manager. Oh, Brig, you seem like a bit of an idiot. So Brig thinks the great thing about this massive, great big bloke LARPing as a woman in the police force with a taser is that parents of confused kids, probably homophobic parents or stupid or moronic parents, with children who claim that they're the opposite sex, they get messages of support. So this man helps parents think that it's perfectly normal. I mean, what I think about those parents is another issue. Probably shouldn't have had kids.
Are those emails from parents of children who are struggling with their own gender identity, and those parents who've reached out to Sky to say, what you've done has been amazing.
Because in the Midlands, what parents want more than anything in the world is their kids to grow up just like Sky. Like, isn't that something to aim for?
And it's really opened my child's eyes, and they want to now follow in your footsteps, and that's all thanks to Sky's work.
Really? I mean, is it true? I don't know. I'm not saying it's a lie. I would never say it's a lie. I'm just looking at those two people and I'm thinking, who is writing to that great big bloke in a bad wig and saying, I want my child to grow up to be just like you?
When I came out and I received the absolute avalanche of hate and abuse, I reached out to the police LGBT network.
And I said, I've only spent £5 on the wig. Do you think it's that?
And I found a family. They have given me strength, they've given me courage and
And look at the size of my hands. Who's going to mess with me, really?
friendship. They've offered me support when I felt low, and it's something that I really cherish. It's important that I show my colleagues that trans people are just simply human.
Men, just simply men. That you are just a bloke in a bad wig, 1980s kind of makeup, a bad wig. That's it. That's all you are. You're just men in a bad wig with far too much access to power and influence.
And I need to be visible so that the trans community can see that the police are
Don't make your whole self visible, Dave.
the trans community, that we are the public and the public are the police, and actually, as Robert Peel wanted, they have a representation. They have somebody that is doing their best to try to make that cultural
Imagine being a TERF in the police force. Are we represented? I don't think so.
change. There is no job like the police. It's without doubt the best job in the world.
For me, I've got my weapons. I've got my chin. I've got my big skull. I've got my wig. Me massive hands. And if that doesn't work, I've got a taser. So I may look like a guy called Dave that you know who does scaffolding. I may look like that, but I'm actually well, yeah, I am. I am that. I just joined the police.
But it's also hard. There are some days where you think the world is against you.
It is. I mean, majority of people don't want you anywhere near their wives, their daughters, their grandmothers, their sisters, and their aunts. And we just don't. We think you're a mockery. Like you're a mockery of a human, but you're certainly a mockery of women, and it's really really offensive. Like you're the whole thing that you're doing is really offensive. But you know, let's all remember Baywatch.
But you sit back and you think, that day I saved a life. That
He's so feminine, so feminine. I mean, I'm just. Can you imagine? Like now, what you have to do is red swimming costume, ocean, or sand. Probably the ocean because that's where they used to do the slow mo runs. Next to him, Pamela Anderson. Oh,
that day I did something that was frightening, unbelievable, scary.
and that was just going in the toilets.
But you know what? It made a difference to somebody vulnerable, somebody who needed somebody there for them.
What was he doing? Doing his job? What was he doing? It made a difference to someone vulnerable. What did you do, Dave? I went and stood up in a toilet in the ladies and left the door open. Oh my God.
I made a difference that day.
I do this stuff, right? I do this stuff. I make these often. I try not to watch. I try and sort of skip through, make sure it's something that we all should watch. But I try not to watch them because I like to react to it with you. How are those two things that we've seen today not a parody? How are they not a parody? Now I am going to offend people with my next accent, but I feel it's important because it's mental. And we're just about to go up to Scotland. So I'm just going to say to all you lovely Scots, if you're watching, if you're offended by my accent, look, I'm doing my very best. Take it as a compliment. The person might be from Aberdeen, and I might actually be doing a Glasgow accent. I don't know what I'm doing. I may do a posh Edinburgh. It may be that I sound like I'm from some, like the Outer Hebrides. I have no idea, but this is what Police Scotland are talking about. I just want to say as well, these policies, despite the that report that came out, the policies about searching women, about men who call themselves women searching women, that's been around since 2012. So all of these policies about what the police can do and how they treat these blokes in dresses, these policies have been around for a really long time. They are not new. They are not new policies. They're not any different just because it's like the police chiefs have said something about it. This stuff is being pushed for ages. There is a real thing in this movement where somebody sees something that somebody else has done, sort of copies it, puts a little bit of a layer of, I don't know, laminate over the top, and then sells it as their own. And it's really, really annoying. And that's what happened to this particular area of policing. And it's all about legacy and making a name for oneself, which it's just not going to work, ladies.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Graham, Assistant Chief Constable for Strategic Change in Police Scotland.
Well, that's a job title, isn't it? Strategic change. How are these jobs? Can I just say, we often can't find a police officer or a station. Like there's some places, like in areas of Bristol where I used to live, there were like no police stations. Like if you had to run to a police station, you'd never get there, right? You'd be dead before you got there. They're closing all these police stations, and then they've got things like, what is this person, like a strategic officer for every Friday, get the chips in? I don't know. Far too long a title and sounds like it's made up.
It's fantastic to be supporting an initiative like LGBT Allies in Police Scotland.
What this really means is that everybody is going to sign up to some sort of shit charter that nobody really agrees with, but we've all got to sign up because otherwise we won't be in the police. So it's not good enough just to be LGBT. You've also got to be an ally. And if you're not an ally, what the fuck are you? Unemployed.
It's absolutely critical that the senior leadership of the service stand up and speak out about things that we need to improve. I strongly believe it's consistent with our values, and in shaping culture for the future, senior leaders standing up can make a real difference to
shaping culture. I freaking hope he's talking just about the culture within the police, although I don't hope that as well. But what is this? Strategic planning, strategic forward direction. You're just the police, mate. You're just supposed to uphold the law. Nobody gives a shit about people, whether or not they're gay or straight or lesbian or bisexual. Nobody cares. We don't care. I don't want to know anything about you. I don't care where you were born. I don't care whether your mum and dad divorced. I don't care what football team you support. I don't care what religion you are. None of it. I want it all out of policing. Just come and help me when I'm in trouble and I need the police. That's it.
The direction that we travel. I also think it's really important that by valuing the diversity of our own staff, we make a really clear statement about valuing the diversity of the communities.
How about just individuals? How about just, are they breaking the law or are they not breaking the law? Why? Why do we need to do anything else? Why?
That we serve, and by doing that then we better reflect the different needs and understanding that we have of the communities that.
Again, who's got different needs? Why has anyone got different needs? It makes no sense. Do you know who's got different needs? An old lady or an old man living on their own, or somebody with somebody who's been a victim of violence, sustained violence, they might have different needs. You might need to actually go to their houses when they're in trouble. Nobody else has different needs. I'm a nearly 50-year-old woman. My needs from you, the police force, are no different than my neighbour down the road who's 78. Well, it might be actually from her. But my neighbour down the road who is a 25-year-old Hindu. There's no difference in what we require from the police. None whatsoever. I really don't understand this idea that you have to treat us as individuals. We're not. You just have to uphold the fucking law.
That we police in Scotland, and that's critical to people being confident and trusting the policing service that serves them.
You want us to trust you? Just walk the streets.
I'm Chief Inspector Jill Bolton. I work within People and Development for Police Scotland.
Christ. No wonder we're in so much trouble. I do People and Development, and do you do anything about the law, Joe? No, I don't do anything about the law. I can't. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold my Scottish accent. Mad.
And I have the privilege to have the lead for the Police Scotland LGBT Allies Network.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Yep, that's great. So you lead the LGBT allies. So you've got an LGBT network and an allies network. Could you have a women's network without any men in it? I don't think so.
I've been really inspired by the absolute commitment and dedication shown by colleagues across the force in creating a positive culture for our LGBT colleagues.
Last week, what we did is we have a fluffing competition so that, everybody could really see what turns everybody else on. It's really professional. And next week, we've got wet T-shirts, just so we can show that we're willing to do whatever it takes to show commitment to the T. So I'm doing a wet T-shirt and a mask and outfit.
For me personally, being an ally allows me to demonstrate my own commitment to supporting LGBT friends and colleagues and to make a positive impact in the workplace.
On Fridays, we have a sponsored wax.
Hi, my name's Ian Arnott and I'm a Inspector in Glasgow Division.
And I've seen so much crime and there's so much going on in Glasgow that I think the most important thing for me is to join an ally unit about LGBT and forget about the crime and all of that I've seen on a weekly basis in a city centre that's plagued with drugs and poverty. So I'm going to have my ball sack waxed just to show my support.
I became an LGBT ally because I firmly believe that people should all feel supported in the workplace. Especially those who have what people would call a difference.
And some people call vaginas.
People are our biggest asset in the job, and it's important that everyone feels at home when they're at their work.
I'm Police Constable Susan Ross. I'm an LGBT ally as I refuse to be part of a silent majority.
Fucking TERFs. I think that trans women are women, and I know if I don't say that, I'm gonna lose my job.
Instead, I choose to stand shoulder to shoulder with my LGBT colleagues to say no.
I am reading this. Can you tell that I'm reading it? You might not know that I'm reading it because I'm saying all of it from the heart, but I really want to stand with all my LGBT colleagues and everyone else. And so I'm also doing a waxing for non-binary Fridays.
To discrimination and to hate, as I hope they would for me if the situation were reversed.
They won't, love. I'm we could all pretend that they will, but they won't. There's not a single person that if you said that you didn't want a cock in your face in the changing room, and if your police station decided to go mix sex in their changing rooms and they just had two sort of places where you could go and privately change. If you went into one of them and you left, like Dave down in the Midlands, if you left him in the changing room and he was feeling like you'd gone in there because you didn't think he was a real woman and he complained about you, there's not a single one of them that would stand up for you, not for one tiny, weeny, wee minute.
If you're not part of the solution, then you're still part of the problem.
Well, I'm part of the problem then. Go me. I don't know what you could do. Arrest me.
Hello, I'm Simon Daly. I'm a detective constable in the Organised Crime and Counter-Terrorism.
Organised crime and counter-terrorism. And whilst I've seen human trafficking, I can't do his accent. I've got to stop because I think I'm going really bad here. So I just think I sound dreadful. So this man deals with organised crime and counter-terrorism. He literally is the man that will help stop a jihadi attack in the centre of Edinburgh. Right, he's that guy. He's the guy that is monitoring the borders of Scotland to make sure people aren't trafficked. Right, he'll be the guy that they'll say, "Oh, by the way, Dermot, there is this organisation. There are a bunch of Albanians. They're bringing people in. They're selling people. You can find slaves, trafficked people in these residential houses. Most of them are actually being coerced and raped on a daily basis by men in Scotland because these are sex trafficked women from Eastern Europe. He's dealing with that. He's also dealing with, hey, Dermot, there's a massive, great big, there's 5 kilos of cocaine coming in on that small plane. Can you watch that? It's really important to me that I'm an LGBT ally, even though on a daily basis, I see absolutely shocking things that most people watching, myself included, will never have any idea about some of the really gruesome, grotesque, like scraping the bottom of the barrel, human kind of stuff, depravity that this man is seen as in his job, and yet he thinks this thing is important. It's so insane.
Terrorism Unit for Police Scotland. I'm an LGBT ally because it's important that all of my colleagues can be authentic when they're in the workplace.
And can I just say, I will do the accents if I damn well please, because it amuses me. And if you're offended, I don't care.
I joined the LGBT allies for the same reason that I joined the police, because I want to help people, I want to support people where they need supported, and I want everybody to be happy and safe.
I want to support people. I want to help people. You're in organised crime, mate.
I'm Sergeant Claire Fletcher and I work at probationer training in Police Scotland College, Tullyallen. I became an LGBT ally because
if I didn't, I was told that I would never get a promotion and I would probably get sacked.
Everyone deserves to feel safe and supported at their work.
I'm Donald Forbes. I work in the mailroom in Dunmarnock. I spent a large part of my working life in an extremely homophobic working environment, where frequently the most vile of anti-gay comments would be shouted at the top of voices.
But no other. Look, I'm not saying homophobic language is acceptable. It's clearly not. It's clearly not. But we know the sort of environment he's talking about. They would have just been terrible environments for everybody. Women, gay men, probably people of colour. It would have just been a terrible environment all round. I don't understand what that has got to do with him working in a mailroom in the police force. Like, harassment is not okay in the workplace, whether it's harassment because you're gay, harassment because you're a woman, harassment because you're a different colour, harassment because, maybe you're the only supposed majority who's a minority. It's not okay to harass a man because he's the only man in a mostly female workforce. It's not okay to harass a white person because they're the only white person. It's not okay to be racist against a black person or person of any sort of brown person or Asian person or Chinese person. None of it's okay. But that's a bad thing in the workplace. That doesn't mean that the answer to that, the antidote to that, is to form a woman-hating LGBT priority network.
This was somewhere you could not be out. The only person never knew who was open, was hounded out of his job, and is still the subject of homophobic hate a decade after leaving.
That's terrible. That's still nothing to do with the police.
There was no there was no one you could go to. The managers and the union reps were themselves homophobic.
Okay.
When I saw this post, the post on the internet for the LGBT allies, I wanted to get involved with that. I thought it was a great idea. I wanted to be able to help make sure.
When I was working somewhere like 10 years ago and it was a terrible environment, I didn't speak up at all. I left the job and I started as a mailroom in the police force, and then decided to become an ally when it was easy, when you could just join in and everybody else was. But when it was difficult, I said, fuck all.
That no one had to experience the kind of abuse that I had to put up with, and to know that they would always have somewhere to turn.
Jesus Christ, get on with it.
If they did.
Hello, my name's Sandra Fleming. I'm a police sergeant who works at leadership and professional development at Police Scotland College, Tullyallen.
Today is the 23rd of March, 2018, and I am a friendly ally to LGBT people and everyone who is, and I'm naturally going to, everyone who is LGBTIQ plus, and I'm an ally, and I was going to lose my job if I didn't join.
I became an LGBT ally because I felt it was important to offer support to my colleagues who felt vulnerable or victimised in the workplace.
Oh, I decided to join a club because there were some people being victimised. How about just don't victimise people? How about just don't do that? How about just don't do that? It's not that difficult, is it? In the police force, should you be victimising people on the basis of who they want to have sex with? No. In the police force, is it victimising if Dave comes to work in a dress, and you all ridicule him and say it's ridiculous and don't let him use the ladies' toilets? Is that okay? Yes, I think it is.
My name is Kenneth Murray, Head of Forensic Accountancy, Police Scotland, and I am an ally because I want anyone.
My name's Ken. I sometimes deliver tampons into the machine downstairs in the ladies, and I am an LGBTQ plus ally. My name's Barbara, and I clean the third floor on every Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, and I am an LGBT plus ally.
The LGBT community who might need my assistance to know that despite being a middle-aged chartered accountant hetero, happily married with a grown-up family, when you come to my desk or when you call me up, you're entering friendly space.
What's remarkable is that what I want people to know is when they come to my desk, I'm not going to say deeply offensive, homophobic remarks and tell them to fuck off. Like, is that what we're talking about? We're talking about the difference between actually being treated as a human being or whatever this alternative is. It's so mad.
My name is Nicola Byrne and I'm a Detective Constable in Police Scotland based at Gartcosh. I became an LGBT ally to be a visible support to my LGBT colleagues.
And I was also told if I had these sorts of things on my CV, in my job file, that actually it was a bit of a bonus point because the person making all the decisions on promotion would read it.
Colleagues and friends, both in my work and also in my personal life.
Off camera, there's someone going, fuck it, read it. Just read it. I don't care. Fine. All right, walk away. No, it's fine. We'll just remember this and read it. Just read it.
Too many people suffer prejudice and silence, and I choose to be a voice for them, standing up against those who would victimise or judge.
My name is Grant Robertson and I am a constable based in Edinburgh. I have become an LGBT ally because I believe it is very important to have visible people within Police Scotland that identify as LGBT or supporters, to ensure LGBT prejudice does not occur, and when it does, there is someone you can speak to in confidence without
My name is Kellie-Jay Keen, and I'm not an LGBT plus ally. In fact, I'm a raging TERF. Some may even just say transphobe. Either way, I don't really mind. But I will be in Edinburgh meeting you, meeting you, meeting you on the 6th of April. I will be saying things that will probably be against the law. You may describe them as transphobic, hateful, bigoted, or just plain old illegal, but I will be saying them. So how exciting is that? I think I might meet you.
Being judged. It's also important to have people that can educate others on LGBT culture and terminology.
Tantrums, that's one thing you need to know. So there's tantrums, irrational behavior, screaming, barking like dogs in some situations, wearing masks, even though they've never been affected for anything, except maybe if you're painting gloss. What else? Quite aggressive, violent, dick pandering. So that's some of the culture that you might need. Ross. Is that his name, Ross? It's quite Scottish, isn't it?
For me personally, though, I look forward to the day when LGBT allies are not actually needed because someone...
Oh my God! I've got some news for you. That day has come. So...
sexual orientation or gender identity is not an issue.
Wow. Gay Police Association Scotland, even that's been taken over. Can't even have their own gay police association anymore. So anyway, that's me. If you want to come to Edinburgh, go to our website. You can tick in a box on locals or the event page and you can volunteer. And we'll be really, really happy to have you. We've already got quite a lot of volunteers, but we always need many. I really want as many of you women in Edinburgh as possible to come along because this is where you're going to make a difference. It's the first major event, a gathering of women after the hate crime crap comes in. And I think it would be really good just to see what that looks like. I'm very, very excited. We're not having it. Women of Scotland are going to say no, and loads of us down here, south of the border, are coming up to support you. So we're going to do it. We're going to get all of this done, and then everyone's going to just go take their balls home and be happy ever after. But look, the good thing about stuff like this, about the hate crime bill, is that it wakes up the people that have previously been fast asleep and not really noticed anything. And so that's a really wonderful element to this. So people will be waking up. We're going to make as much fuss as possible. Come along to our event. It'll be amazing to see you all. And, it's really, really important that you make yourself known. Like, if not now, when they're just about to criminalise all women in Scotland who say, he's a bloke, look at that man's penis. If not now, then when? And if not you, then who? Don't rely on someone else going. Don't rely on that woman that you've just talked to who said, oh yeah, isn't it terrible? I'd love to do something about it. Don't rely on her going. You've got to do it. It's got to be you. It's got to be you. So that's what I'm saying. It's you. Who's gonna save your pretty little ass? You. Who's gonna save your daughters? You. Who's gonna save that lone woman who's too vulnerable, can't actually fight for her own rights because she's too vulnerable. She's a survivor of sustained domestic violence. Who's gonna save her? It's gonna be you. It's not gonna be anyone else. It's got to be you. So, if you can come on the 6th of April, then I promise we will win. If you can help us organise our event in Cambridge, which is the 13th of April, if you can help us organise that, that would be amazing. Please get in touch again through our website. You can't get in touch any other way besides letwomenspeak.org. And you have to get in touch with us through that so that we can verify you. There's only verified people that would get into organising groups. It doesn't take very much, but we will need to do that. So as soon as you can get through to our website, which is now, the better. That would be great. Okay, if you can do that, if you can gather on the 24th, so Sunday, Hyde Park, 6th of April in Cambridge, and then the 28th of April will be at Reformatory again, and then Madrid, the 11th of May. If you're any of those places, Oklahoma, then we would love to see you. And if you can do that, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.